Welcome back to Pickett Build. Alright guys, we are sitting in the Land Cruiser and we are going to do the first mod, or actually the first unmod mod. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, you're taking a look at that air vent there and you can see it's got the indicators on it and there's no wood trim. Let's work on removing all of this wood trim. Alright, some of it down here, it looks faded and tarnished and it's starting to peel a little bit, and I want to get this off and see what it looks like underneath. You can also see on this other side there's wood vent right there. Let's get all this off and check it out. Alright, our first plan of attack is, as you can see, we've got 90-degree temps outside. We're gonna let this sit for a little while and let the Land Cruiser heat up and then see if it's easier to peel all this off once everything's hot. Okay, this Land Cruiser has been roasting out in the sun for a good hour now, so let's get in here and check out if we can remove this trim easier. Alright, I've got a little tool here. Let's start prying this up. Off, we got this last piece here that we're trying to get off. We've got a little bit of residue here left. Same thing on this side. You can see a little bit of residue there. Now you can see underneath the wood trim, here's the original closed vent, open vent. So that wood trim is definitely an aftermarket. We're going to go ahead and try some Goo Gone, and I've been using these little Bondo to go underneath the trim, and that's what's been working the best to get all this wood trim off. Now, after using some Goo Gone, that seems to work really well on this just additional residue and getting this all cleaned up. I still got to get a little more right here, but for the most part, you guys see what's going on here, and I think it's looking pretty good without the wood trim on there. Gives it, really, in my opinion, a more modernized look. We've got all the wood trim removed. I actually really like the way it looks without it. I thought that might be the case, that it would look pretty good under there. I think it modernizes this vehicle and gets rid of all that old ratty wood trim that was on there. Some of that needed to come off anyway. Worst case scenario, I was going to have to replace it, but I think it looks great without it. Now, here's a few things that I learned along the way. Obviously, it really helps if it's really hot outside. Okay, otherwise you would have to use a heat gun or a hair dryer or something like that. It's really hot where I'm living right now this time of year. It's almost up to 100 degrees. It was in the mid 90s today. We let this thing sit and let all that wood trim get really hot, and then these little Bondo things worked great. Leaving it under there and just pulling the trim almost right off. I mean, it pulled off pretty good with this stuff, including all the residue. Now there was a little bit of residue left over, and this Goo Gone worked really well. And then I just used some rubbing alcohol with just these little microfiber cloths to finish off wiping all the rest of it and just getting it cleaned up. And other than that, appreciate you guys watching. Until next time.